All right, boys. Last week I talked about the offense, and it was some high stakes, high pressure, serious shit, right? Talked about what the offense needs to be, talked about the way we allocated our resources, talked about how, given the way the team was put together, it makes sense for the offense to do this, this, and that, but we're not doing those things. Some maybe you could even say somewhat depressing things. So this week we're going to just kick back and have a little bit of fun. We're going to talk about what the offense could be and how cool it would be if we actually got the offense that I think we should be running. So, what I have here are statistical projections. We're going to have fun with numbers today. Nothing about how, the future of the team is at stake. Nothing about how we're going to waste Russell Wilson. We're not going to talk about that today. Today, we're going to talk about what if we do it? What if over the next 12 games, the Seattle Seahawks embrace the kind of team that they have put their money towards being and embrace the modern NFL and actually open up the passing attack? What could we be looking at? The answer is probably the most prolific and star studded passing attack in franchise history. So let's expand on that. So we're 4 games into the season, and projecting stats is easy after 4 games, right? You just multiply everything by 4, and boom, you have a 16-game projection. So what are we on track to do as of right now through 4 games where, by the way, the offense has done a few things that I like. It's done a few things I didn't like. It could be better. It could be worse. I feel like it stepped forward a bit from last year in terms of style, but I would still like it to keep going. But even with those, you know, just as an example, in that Saints game, coming out, running the ball, and throwing little dump off passes, even with not really ever getting to exercise the passing attack against Cincy, we still see the potential. So I want to go over some stuff here. And like I said, we're just having fun today. How good could this passing attack be? Let's start at the top. Russell Wilson. Through 4 games, this is the best start of his career. Not only is it the best start of his career, it's the best start that any quarterback has ever had for this team. And honestly, saying those two things, it's basically saying the same thing because the seasons that Wilson has had are pretty much the best seasons by any Seahawk quarterback ever. But, let me qualify that. At his current pace, which means based off the way he's played in the first 4 games of the season, if he keeps that up and continues on his trajectory, we are talking 388 completions, which would break his own record by 35 from 2016. 532 attempts, which would not break the franchise record. He would fall 30 short of 2007 Matt Hasselbeck, which was, before Wilson got here, maybe the best season any Seahawks quarterback had ever had, unless you want to say like Dave Craig, that one year he had 32 touchdowns. But it's maybe not the worst thing in the world that he doesn't break the attempts record, and we can see he's quite close. 72.9% completion percentage. That would shatter his old record from 2015 of 68.1. He's on pace for over 4,500 yards. Never had a Seahawks quarterback throw for over 4,500 yards. The record is Wilson from 2016, 4,219. And I had to cheese a little bit for this one, but you'll forgive me for that. You're just going to have to deal with it. I cheese sometimes. 40 total touchdowns. So far, he's got 8 passing, 2 rushing. Times it by 4, 40 total touchdowns, breaking his own record from 2 years ago of 37 total touchdowns. And through 4 games, he's got a 118.7 quarterback rating, which means he's on track to shatter his own record from last year of just under 111. So through 4 games, Russell Wilson is on pace to have what is clearly the best season any Seahawks quarterback has ever had. Schedule's been a little easy. I understand that. Some situations have been favorable. There was some garbage time against the Saints. Regardless, keep an eye on this. Next piece of the passing game, Tyler Lockett. Keep in mind, everything I'm about to say with Tyler Lockett here, it came even though he was targeted twice against the Bengals. And by the way, only targeted 4 times against Arizona, mostly because we really felt like we just packed it in after the 20-3 lead at halftime. But Tyler Lockett, after 4 games, on pace for 104 receptions. And Tyler Lockett is a big play receiver. He wasn't ever a guy I thought was going to have a ton of receptions, but so far this year, he's done it all. He's busted some big plays, but he's been catching short passes too. He can do it all. I didn't know he had it in him. He does. 104 receptions would shatter the old record of 94. We've never had a 100-catch receiver. 94, 2007 Bobby Ingram, old man Bobby, catching passes from Matt Hasselbeck, and he shares that record with 2016 Doug Baldwin. And 1,312 yards. This would break the old record of 1287 set by 1985 Steve Largent. And by the way, 1985 Steve Largent is the only Seahawks wide receiver in NFL history to make the All-Pro team. Or first team All-Pro anyway. 1985 Steve Largent is the one All-Pro first team season in Seahawks franchise history. If Tyler Lockett turns in a season with over 100 catches and 1,300 receiving yards, could he be the next? I don't know. Maybe. We'll only know if we get there, and hopefully we do. Because right now I see a wide receiver who is efficient as they get, and he can do it all. Next part, let's go to Will Dissly, the tight end that nobody saw coming, including me. I watched every game Will Dissly played in college. I didn't see this. He's our Jason Witten. He's not fast. He's not athletic. He doesn't do the freakish stuff that, Tony Gonzalez or Antonio Gates or Vernon Davis would do, or Jimmy Graham, or, pick your guy. But he gets open. He's got good hands. He runs good routes. And through 4 games in a year where he is coming off a severe leg injury, might I add, on pace for 76 receptions. This would shatter the tight end record for the franchise. 65 set by Jimmy Graham in 2016. Dissly's on pace to roar past that. 724 receiving yards. Now, this would not be a record. It's not even all that close to the current record for the tight end position of a Seahawk. 2016 Jimmy Graham came in at 923, by far the best season by any tight end in Seahawks history, but they give you something for second place, last I checked, and Dissly can easily surpass the second place tight end season, 627 yards in 2008 by John Carlson. And I forgot to write his name here, but John Carlson, you remember him? Will Dissly's basically everything that I wanted John Carlson to be when he got here, so decade too late for the boys back then, but I'm happy to have him. And if he can actually turn in a season like this, which to me is totally believable. Last year, I remember on one of my videos, I got a comment about how our offense, our passing offense, leaned on big plays and dump offs, and we weren't doing a great job of doing the stuff in the middle. Some of that was because Baldwin was injured, but coming into this year when we didn't have Baldwin, period, it was like, who's going to be the guy who catches those intermediate passes? Who's the guy who's going to catch the 15-yard pass on 3rd and 12? Who's going to be the guy who just helps us grind down the field? You maybe not you don't have to beat the defense over the top. You don't have to take a screen pass and break 3 tackles. Who's going to be the intermediate guy? We found him. And I think he could do this the whole season. I really do. The dude he constantly finds himself open, constantly finds himself having the ball caught when it hits his hands. The dude hasn't dropped a pass to my recollection. So I'm going to dream big, and I'm going to say that he has a chance to do something like this. To wrap it up, those are the big pieces of the passing game, but just while we're having fun with numbers, that's what we're doing here today, right, guys? We're having fun with numbers. DK Metcalf on pace for 40 receptions. Now, the rookie record for a Seahawk receiver is 67. Joey Galloway in 1995 caught 67 balls as a rookie. So Metcalf, he's a little off that pace, but if you look at yards, he's on pace for just shy of 900. Galloway had just over 1,000, so it's not unreasonable. I don't know what to expect from DK over the last 12 games of this season. He might hit the rookie wall, but if he can pick up his route running just a little bit, if he can, just get more snaps in general, and if he can clearly define himself as being better than David Moore, which I believe he is, and better than Jerron Brown, which he most certainly is, then the rookie record for this franchise is in range. I was watching a game on YouTube earlier today from 1998. It was the Randy Moss Vikings. Randy Moss's first game in the NFL against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And a few times a game, Brad Johnson, or later in the season, Randall Cunningham, would drop back in the pocket and just loft the ball 50 yards down the field and say, Randy Moss, go get it. And it worked a lot. Why can't we do that with DK? We should be taking a few shots with him every game. I'm not saying he's Randy Moss, but he can have that kind of an effect on a game. And to wrap things up, just because I also found this interesting, Chris Carson, after a initial breakout season of not really getting that involved in the passing attack, he's been catching passes through the first 4 games. And this is with him getting benched for a part of that New Orleans game for poor play. Now, I've been harsh on Chris Carson myself because, he wasn't playing well, but as long as he holds on to the ball and gets the yards that are there, I'm going to be good with him. He's good in my book. And let's face it, he's going to continue to get a big role in this offense. And while I'm not a big fan of running the ball, the idea of maybe dumping it off to running backs and designing screenplays for him, I feel like that can be sort of an extension of your running game that I think can work more effectively than just running the ball. So, what is Chris Carson on track to do after 4 games? We've thrown the ball 15 times already this year, and that's with him not playing in the second half against the Saints very much. So, I take a look at this. He's on pace for 56 catches, 56 receptions. The Seahawks record for a halfback, for a backfield player, for a back, is 76. 1989, John Williams. Now, John Williams was a fullback, but, that was a different era of football. That dude caught a lot of passes. That dude led the team in catches once or twice. So 1989, John Williams caught 76. However, the running back record for a Seahawk is 63, set in 2000 by Ricky Watters. Ricky Watters, one of my early favorite Seahawks, by the way, when I was first really getting into football. Ricky Watters was one of my favorites. Don't know why it was the name. I think it was the name. I love that name. But Chris Carson, not that far off. He has a couple of big 10-catch games maybe where, we're just trying to beat the blitz on every play. He's right there. And 400 receiving yards. Current projection, he's got 100 exactly. The current record for a halfback is 1990 John Williams with 699. Record for a halfback, 613 from 2000 Ricky Watters. So this was just for fun. I don't know if any of this is going to happen. I'm not saying that any of this is going to happen, but I want it to happen, and I think it should happen. I think this is our path to a successful season. And I think that if we can achieve these milestones or get close to them or have the kind of season where a bunch of stuff like this happens, that's how we get to where we want to go. So let Wilson cook. Let Wilson run the offense. Come out early in these games. Throw it to Tyler until they do something to stop us. Throw it to DK until they double team him. Hit Disley over and over the middle as he continues to get open against linebackers and safeties who are smaller than him. Beat the blitzes by dumping it off on hot reads to Carson. Throw it deep to Metcalf a few times a game, and we could be setting some serious franchise records for a passing attack. Should be, I think, the greatest passing attack in franchise history. And I think that if we can push ourselves towards doing something like this, it's going to result in wins. All right, I'm out of here. I'm going to be doing a video with a co-host shortly here, so keep an eye out for that. It's going to be on another channel, but you will see me upload future videos with this co-host on this channel as well. So keep an eye out for that. I'll promote the video on Twitter after it gets posted on the other channel, and I don't know, we're going to have fun. That's the goal here, right? We're having fun today. I'm dreaming about this. It's fun. This is what I enjoy. All right. Peace out. Go Hawks. Thursday night football this week, so you will be seeing a pregame video from me sooner rather than later. Peace.